Hello and welcome to another CanvasCast. This time we're going to touch on something that you probably only do 2 to 3 times a year, which is how to go about setting up your Canvas course site for a brand new semester. This is assuming that you've already taught in Canvas and have content and some comfort and familiarity with the basics of Canvas. If not, see the top 10 steps for getting started with Canvas for that. But at any rate, we're going to look at a few different pieces of how to copy over your existing content so you're picking up right where you left off and not having to waste time reinventing the wheel. Doing a few housekeeping things, a few power tips to maybe save you a little bit of extra time in there, and just a few pre-flight things to make sure everything's tip-top before you're ready to offer it to students. So one of the first pieces is if you're not seeing an upcoming term's new course on your dashboard, a quick little tip is to go to Courses and All Courses. And if there's an upcoming term course that is listed here but not showing your dashboard, you can left click this little star business, and then that will add that onto your dashboard. And the first task usually folks want to do is copy in the content from a pre-existing term so they're not having to reinvent the wheel. And there's two ways to do that. One, I can click this Add Existing Content, just single left click, and that'll take me to my Import Content screen. You can also get to this screen through Settings and Import Course Content in this right-hand column here. And that takes you to this Import Content screen. So either way you make it to this import content screen, this is where all the action happens as far as copying your course content that you've already built. On this content type drop down where it says select one, we'll single left click, and we want that first option, copy a Canvas course. So we'll left click that. Then I get another box here, and I can start typing my course section and number here. In this case, History 1030. And I'll do 921. The more I add to this, and notice I'm doing dashes and no spaces, the more it'll drill down that list to the term that I actually want. Then I can click on that. And then I've got a choice as far as do I want all content or specific content. More than likely, if you're at this point, you're just going to want to grab everything. Bear in mind that you can always edit or remove stuff once you've got it into this new current course shell. A power tip here real quick is if you want to adjust just the due date, the actual due date that's listed in Canvas as far as your course calendar, the to-dos, the reminders, and all that, not the actual typed in course description or assignment description. Doesn't mess with any of that, but activating this adjust events due dates, I could adjust the beginning date of whatever term I was copying from to whatever the beginning date of the current term course shell that I'm working in, and then whatever the end date for whatever I was copying from that semester to whatever the end date of the current semester shell that I'm working in. Likewise, I can do substitutions, only affecting due dates and course events from one day to another. I don't have to do that, but it can be a nice way to save time and energy. And that's all just adjust events and due dates. But I'm going to keep this simple. Just say copy Canvas course, the specific course, all content, and say import. What that's now going to get me is a little thermometer is going to pop up here. And how quickly that goes to pull across all my stuff depends on how much stuff I have in the source Canvas section that I'm pulling across, what all is going on in the network, how many other people are doing this at the same time. Bottom line, about 5 to 10 minutes is usually what that runs for most folks, even with bigger courses, before everything is pulled across. What this is going to do then is pull across everything from that course as I left it, except for student enrollments and student grades. It's just going to pull across whatever I set up as far as my grade book, announcements, so on and so forth, but not previous students' enrollments or previous student grades or previous student work. One of the most common tickets that we get at the Canvas help desk is that there is a broken link some way. So we can weed that out, and it's really worth our time to spend a couple minutes using the nice tools that Canvas gives us, trying to weed that out to prevent stress or confusion or frustration from both students as well as you. Also, under settings, at the bottom of the right hand column, validate links in content. If I left click on that, it gives you a little description saying, hey, I'm basically going to just check all the links that I can find. Okie doke. We'll say start link validation, and it'll start going to town doing a report on that. And how long that takes will depend on how much stuff you have in your course, what else is happening on the network, how many links, so on and so forth. So beep bop boop, and it'll come back in. And again, each of these is a clickable link. What it also does, it's a little nicer on this, is it gives me a little more specifics of what I'm looking at other than, hey, there's something on this page. So this case, I can see it's pointing to a specific page that it thinks is deleted. So again, I could single left click on that, drill down, edit this, redirect that, whatever I need to do, and I'll be all set. One other quick thing I can do to do some pre-flight before I turn this loose to the students is just go under settings. And what I can do is on the second option here in the right-hand column, student view, I basically see the course through the student's eyes. So this is just a good little fail-safe check to make sure I'm seeing everything and everything's set up the way I want it to, because basically I'm going to be seeing everything as my students would see it. So you can fully go around your course as your test student here. You could even post discussion posts or announcement replies or whatever you want to do. But it's a really good way to kind of do just a pre-flight shakedown to find any other little oopsies and or make sure things are working the way you're telling students you want it to work. And last but not least, once I'm happy with everything and it's set up the way I want it, if I'm teaching a face-to-face course that's not a distance section, to make the course available to students around whatever whatever timeline I have on the home page, I'll have to click publish for the course status. Right now, if it's saying read and unpublished with that cross through, even though I can go into grades, I can go into people and see all sorts of my students that are currently enrolled in it hanging out there, they're never going to see or know anything about this until I click this publish button. Single left click off the home page. Soon as I do that, and if it's after the term start date, then it'll pop right up on my enrolled students' dashboards, and they'll be able to get in and access anything I've made available to them. Reminder, I can still hide or unpublish things, such as this little item here in my module has the little gray cross out of doom. That's meaning that students won't see that. But again, doing that settings and student view, that's the sort of thing I can weed out and make sure everything's looking and working the way I want it to. If I'm teaching a distance section, a section 900X, 910X, or 920X, that is an on-campus hybrid, a Zoom hybrid, or fully online, we and Eli go through and auto-publish those courses by 8 a.m. the first day of the term every term. So if you're doing distance, you don't have to worry about that other than making sure everything's ready to go. So hopefully that's a good quick little refresher and review of all the quick things you need to go through to get yourself all up and running and avoid any problems from the get-go to get off to a very good solid start for you and your students to start the term. As always, feel free to contact us here at Eli for any special concerns or any sort of consult you'd like to do to set up or alter anything in Canvas.